Future Jam.
Welcome to the Future Jam, a tech news podcast for enthusiasts and casual listeners alike. I'm Mike, and once again, I'm joined by my good buddy Alex.
Woo! Yeah, year 2 of the podcast for me.
Well, you sound a little more exciting, why don't you?
I am not excited. I'm no longer going to be pushed around by you, Mike.
Yeah, you're now a seasoned veteran, so you can kind of like take over things, and I'll just sit here and do nothing.
Yeah. You're taking my role then. What I did all last year.
We're reversing the roles. You're now a tech expert, and you can just take over the show, I think.
Damn right. How you been, Mike? You getting excited for Halloween?
You know me. I don't get excited about pretty much any holidays. And now if I was a kid again, I'd be having a blast, eating all my candy in one night, but I don't get pumped up about holidays.
You have always said that you wanted to be one of those people in the movies that get sent back to being like a kid again, like 13 going on 30. Or what? No, that would be the opposite. Or like 17 again or something like that.
I was going to say, has there been any movies where the reverse happened?
Yeah, there was the one with the guy from Friends, Matthew Perry, and then he goes back and he's Zac Efron, maybe? And that's 17 again?
Okay. Well, this sounds horrible. I think that was like a Disney Channel movie or something.
Nah, it came out in the theaters. They're big stars.
Yeah, Zac Efron and who? Tyler Perry?
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, decent names.
Family names. People know who they are, I guess. You ready to jump into the dumb tech of the week, Alex?
Yeah, talking about going back in time.
That's the first one up, isn't it? Well, I flipped them because one's a bigger story than the other.
Well,
But since you had that great lead in, Alex, we'll go in with that great lead in. How about that?
Thank you.
This is your year 2, so you're steering this boat right
Yeah.
here. So Fisher-Price made a working chatter telephone for adults, and I didn't know it was actually called a chatter phone. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, this is like a modernized version of the toy phone you probably played with as a kid. Well, I can't even explain what it looks like. What does it look like? You probably have one of these rolling around your house.
Yeah, we have one. It's the red phone, and then it has like the face as the eyes, and the rotary
Dial?
Yeah, rotary dial. And then you play with it. And you make fake phone calls.
So why did they think that people would want to buy this? $60, by the way, and it lasts 9 hours in battery. So why would anybody want to actually use this as a device to call people on? So it works like it connects to your phone via Bluetooth. It's not plugged in through like a
cord
cable in the wall. It's actually a Bluetooth device.
Yeah, so it works through your phone, but you can use the little toy to call people.
Wouldn't you feel like a huge idiot talking on this thing to somebody?
I want to feel like a huge idiot. The point they're missing is like using those phones was fun because you made up your own conversation when you were talking to somebody. I always pick it up and like, hello, Batman.
Oh, so you actually used it as a phone. Me, as a kid, when I had one of these, I think I just dragged it around because it has wheels. I think I just dragged it around the room with the handset and like used it as a pool toy.
Yeah, well, that's what most people do.
So I wasn't having imaginary conversations as a kid, I don't think.
Really? You never called?
No, I don't believe so. I did do the fake dial thing because it's fun to spin those little mechanical dials. Even to this day, as an adult, dials are better than having like a touchscreen or something like that. I like dials and physical buttons.
Well, this is like the rotary one where you like turn it. That's terrible.
No, I love doing that. It's fun. It's like tactile. It's not as fast, but it's fun.
No, the best one is the buttons, the dial tone buttons.
Like the payphone buttons where it's like beeping at you?
Yeah. The best ones.
The payphone buttons always felt like really solid and like fun to push. Like they had lots of it felt good pushing.
You miss payphones? Is that the one technology you wish would come back?
No, I don't miss payphones. But I always thought they were kind of interesting. Especially like if you were a criminal and you could just give somebody the number and they could call you and you'd be like, yeah, I'm untraceable. I'm at this payphone.
What, when you just get a burner phone?
No, this is before burner phones.
No, I'm just saying now you would just get a burner phone and it is.
I don't know how untraceable those are now, but maybe they still are.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not going to buy one of these. I probably don't know anybody who would buy one of these, unless you are.
No, we have a toy one, I think right behind me, actually. There's one in our basement.
But they're exclusive to Best Buy, and they're sold until supplies last.
I can see people buying this. I could see it. I mean, $60 is steep, but I could see like somebody doing this as like a family white elephant gift.
It's expensive white elephant gift.
If your thing is like $50, and then
yeah. What if you're a collector? I think it's just mainly going to be collectors buying it and maybe keeping it to see if it goes up in price since it's a limited edition item. So,
well, how well did the Bat phone sell? They had the Bat phone from like the '60s TV show that you could.
I don't think they have like sales numbers sitting around. Like you can't just Google how well did the Bat phone sell.
All right, well, I just Googled it. 10 billion.
That's a lot of units. There's a lot of people dialing out on their Bat phones. That's not true though. So we're burying the lead. Our next dumb tech of the week is actually probably the biggest story. They've been teasing this for a while now, and Mark Zuckerberg's kind of annoying with how he teased it, and he was thinking that everybody was going to be in shock and awe over this huge announcement that kind of fell flat.
You did not get a boner when you read it?
No.
No. Well, that's one of us then.
Okay. Well, Facebook is rebranding itself as Meta. And that's probably the, one of the saddest names since Alphabet that Google went with.
Yeah, but Google, like now they have that whole, well, everything is like a letter of the alphabet product-wise they go through. It's also dumb, but they like kind of made it work. Facebook with Meta, I don't know, they want all their products to be part of like the metaverse. I just feel like they're trying too hard. I would have thought it'd been hilarious if they came out like, oh, we're changing the corporate name and all, and they just went with Bookface. Would have been hilarious. I would have gave it to them then. I would have been like, good job, Facebook.
Every single Twitter and blog and whatever post, all last week they were all coming up with stupid names that Facebook was going to choose for their parent company. And I think the most obvious one was Meta, and most people probably guessed that's what it was going to be called. And sure enough, that's what it is, Meta. They're actually rebranding. They have VR headsets. They bought Oculus. I don't know. It's probably been 5 or more years since they bought Oculus.
Are they rebranding Oculus as Meta?
Yeah, they're rebranding Oculus as Meta. So it's going to be called the Meta Quest instead of the Oculus Quest.
That's so dumb. Because Oculus is, I feel like it's finally catching on, like as like a thing people know, and you're all of a sudden changing the name. Like VR stuff is already so hard to get people to invest in, like common people. Like, why would you change the name after, like, it's a name that people actually have heard of for years now? It's a brand. Like, Oculus is a brand.
They're also changing, you have a Facebook portal. They're changing that to Meta Portal.
That's so dumb. Now, that one I would just drop to the portal. Like, just drop Meta. And that's the portal, I think, works.
Well, same with the Meta Quest. Just drop Meta and just call it the Quest 2.
Well, like with Oculus, like they could have different brands under that. Like the Quest could be one version, and they can shoot from there, but keep Oculus as the main name. But I don't know. It's just like a bad move, I think, to change the name. Facebook is, as much as people hate it, it is like a big name. It's going to be like Alphabet and Google. Most people don't realize that Google is technically called Alphabet, the parent company.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are still unaware that Alphabet is the parent company of Google, even though it's been widely known for some time. So I kind of feel like this Meta thing is just people are going to still call it Facebook because the headquarters is going to have the Facebook name and thumb taken down, and they're going to put up the Meta and the new logo up.
Is it still going to be one hack away?
No, I don't. I don't know what the address is for the Facebook headquarters, and I don't. Do you mail like postcards to Facebook workers and thank them for like helping your post get more likes, or something like that?
Yeah, back in 2011, they moved the Menlo Park. The new location is one hacker away.
I don't pay that close attention to their address, but
Oh, I know the address of every major company. You give me a company, and I'll give you the address.
Campbell's.
One Campbell's Way.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually probably true. Don't look it up. So yeah, Facebook switching to Meta, I think it's a dumb like name change, but you're still gonna have the Facebook app and the actual.
Well, yeah, like WhatsApp and Instagram and all that are staying the same. I'm just really surprised Oculus is changing.
Well, he thinks, well, obviously VR hasn't really caught on yet, 100%. So I think he's just pushing so hard. He wants to be the company that really makes VR and AR and all those products mainstream.
Well, they clearly want to kind of get out of like the social media, I think. Like, I think they want to separate their social media stuff to be viewed from like a social media company to a tech company. And I feel like when you have Facebook as your title, they're thinking that people won't take them seriously. Because people, when the portal first came out, people didn't take it serious because it was the Facebook portal.
Yeah, I didn't take it seriously.
So I think with this change, they're doing it to rebrand, and like this is going to be like a technology division of the company. And then we'll still have all our social media apps and businesses.
So yeah, I mean, I just think it's lame, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if 5 years from now everybody's wearing VR headsets, and we'll all thank Mark Zuckerberg again.
Did we thank him before?
Yeah, back when we switched from MySpace to Facebook, I think people were like, "Thank you for removing the sparkly things that pop up on your page every time you load it up." And
you hate sparklers?
No, I don't hate sparklers, but I hate it on MySpace when you would load up a page and there'd be all these like graphics that sparkled and 100 different music players started playing music at once, and it was just a complete madhouse.
Well, people can design their own page.
It was fun. I was a MySpace backer back in the day, but
yeah, Facebook just made it easier and dumber.
Yeah, they dumbed it down, and one day we could just dedicate a whole show to Facebook and just how it kind of went in its own demise. Like it kind of steered its way to its own demise a little
It's
bit.
almost like having more money made it worse.
Yes.
Okay. You want to keep moving?
Yeah, let's keep it moving. So we're going to cover both the Mac event and the Pixel event. We'll do Mac first, and we're just going to quickly touch base and just talk about some of the most exciting announcements from both of these events. So Mac's up first, and to me, the biggest thing that they announced were the new MacBook Pros with their new chips. And I thought these were a huge jump in the right direction. Obviously, they have to do this if they're going to drop Intel. So they have the new M1 chip. Then they have the new M1 Pro chip. You know what? They're not stopping there, Alex. They're going to confuse the heck out of you, and they introduced the M1 Max. So I don't know how the M1 Max chip is somehow better than the Pro. You'd think the Pro would be the best one.
Yeah, it's odd that they're announcing two different versions of it. Right? The Pro and the Max. I wonder if like the Pro is just a little bit better than the M1. And then like the Max is like the full thing, but they're like, well, it's already a little better. So we can sell it at like a different price for whatever product you buy it.
Yeah, so each one is a little bit bigger, and each one has more CPU cores and more GPU cores and all that. So as you step up, it just gets bigger with more cores. And so it's just like slightly bigger, same chip, slightly bigger, same chip. And they said that it's 70% faster than the previous one from last year and up to 1.7 times faster than their competitors, which Apple's always really vague with when they compare it to their competitors. They never really explicitly tell you like what device they're comparing it against, and it's always a random device. And they always have all these random graphs, and they compare it against this mystery laptop, and you don't know what that is either.
I like to think they make another laptop that just it's crappier than this one, and that's what they compare it to.
Yeah, I think they probably. I wouldn't be surprised. The biggest other big things that I saw is they actually brought back the HDMI port. They killed that. It's been off the machines for 4 or 5 years, and they brought back the HDMI port.
I think they thought it wouldn't be a thing. I really think they thought like, oh, we'll get rid of the HDMI cord. People won't use it. Now, like, everything uses it.
And they also got rid of the touch bar.
Which is good.
Which was another annoying thing. They added a SD card slot back, which is another thing they added back that people were clamoring for. And a better keyboard, finally.
I feel like 5 years ago when they like took all this stuff out, they're like, no, this is the future. We're right. Everybody else is wrong. And for 5 years, they just stood their ground like, no, we're not changing anything. And then they're finally like, we need to put all this stuff back.
They basically just reverted back to the old design with new chips. That's all they did.
What's wrong with that? People love the MacBook Pro.
I think they're heading. I'm really bullish about these new MacBook Pros. If I was in the market for a laptop, I'd be seriously tempted to get one. I'm obviously not, but yeah, these devices are fantastic.
Obviously not in the market.
No,
as you can tell.
I don't really buy. I use a laptop for work, and I don't want to use a laptop when I get home. That's the last thing I want to do. So, but yeah, these are very tempting. If you're in the market for a high-end device, they're fantastic looking, and I would definitely add it to the top of your list of devices to look at. The other thing, there's one thing that I saw announced at this Apple event that I just thought was complete and utter bonkers, and I don't know why they even offer this. I'm not talking about the AirPods. They upgraded the AirPods again. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's $179 pair of headphones that are basically like the wired headphones that came with your phone, but they made them wireless and charged an extra $100. Stupid. Well, anyways, they have a new discounted Apple Music plan, $5. Sounds great. Sounds fantastic. Only $5 to listen to Apple Music, but the caveat is you can only use Siri to play music.
Yeah, it's wild, right? So it's only...
It doesn't make sense at all. It's so confusing.
Well, they have their HomePod minis, and it seems like a way just to sell these. Like, that's the only way you can use them. And that's all they're trying to do.
It's so dumb.
You're like, well, if people are willing to buy these, we can give them Apple Music for $5.
It should just be free. Should just be free. Like, it's the most neutered product I've ever heard. You can't even, like, use your phone to choose a song or, like, search for an artist. You have to ask Siri. And who, off the top of their head, remembers, like, all the songs they want to listen to or the band or whatever? It just completely stupid.
You can't remember a band's name?
Well, I mean, I have a huge library of stuff, and, I'll scroll through that library and come across stuff that I, forgot about. So there's no way that I'm just going to, off the top of my head, sure, play AC/DC again or something stupid like that. Or I'll play Taylor Swift for the 50th time.
That's my question is, who is this for? I don't know who, like, maybe older people, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's for older people who don't have phones. Because if you have a phone, you probably want to pay the $9.99 price and get more access.
Well, they don't listen to music on the phone and they're just in the house all day, maybe. Like,
It's so bizarre. This is the most bizarre announcement ever. I probably wouldn't even have announced it. I probably would have just offered it on the website, not told anybody about it, and just hoped and prayed that nobody made fun of me.
Yeah.
So
you want to move on to Pixel?
Yeah, let's move on to Pixel. And I actually was pleasantly surprised at this event. Google announced both the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro actually reasonably priced. $599 for the Pixel 6 and $899 for the Pixel 6 Pro. And if I would have said those prices 3 years ago, you would have been like, "Oh my gosh, super expensive. That's no way I'm paying that." But when all the other brands are selling their phones for like over $1,000 or close to it, this is actually a pretty good deal in comparison.
Well, when the Pixel first came out, wasn't it cheaper than other phones, right?
Yeah, they've always been like that middle ground price, and
which was odd on the 5, because it was more expensive than the 5's more expensive than the 6 when it first came out.
yeah,
So I
it
wondered
was.
if Google was like, it didn't sell that well. Maybe we priced it too high and it will knock off $100, and then maybe more people will buy it.
So I think what they're doing is instead of releasing a half-assed phone for expensive price, they're releasing a well thought out phone for a good price. They're actually smart this time around with what they're doing, and I'm on all the message boards for the Google stuff and like Reddit, and I have yet to see this level of excitement in a long, long time. Like, people are actually excited about these phones. It's like everybody's back into like talking about like what's Google going to do next. Like it just reignited this passion for phones. Like,
It reminds me of when the 3 came out. I feel like there was like a huge buzz when like the 3 and the 3A came out, and then after that, it's kind of like died down.
yeah, it did, because it had like 3 or 4 phones in a row where they just weren't that good at all, and they stuck with the same camera in every single phone for like 3 or 4 years straight, the same camera module and everything. And this is like the first year where they're doing a complete overhaul of their camera system. And this camera, I'm seeing reports all over the place where it's like fantastic. It has a lot of fantastic new features. I saw that it has like a magic eraser. This is like after you take the picture, where you can just kind of like highlight something in the picture and erase like a person from your picture, or like a car from the background, or something cool like that. It also has like a feature where you ever like take a picture and a face is blurry.
Yeah.
So it uses like an algorithm and it unblurs the face. So
Didn't we talk about that what they were doing?
Yeah, we've talked about this
ago.
before, where they're slowly making these new like I guess they're computer vision, or like they use computer models to make the cameras better. So what happened is Google is actually the company behind like why all cameras on phones are getting better, because when the Pixel first came out or around, they were like seen as the best camera on the market, because they, instead of like investing all their money into like putting like the best camera parts on the phone, they actually invested their money in software. And that software they used to like kind of make the camera parts better. Like they use the software to like I guess interpret what the camera's seeing and bring out a really good picture.
What did you think of the Pixel Pass subscription service?
It's just, it's kind of like what Apple's doing as well, where you pay one lump fee and you get everything. So you get like your phone plan, a new phone after 2 years, storage plan, and that sort of thing. So it's
yeah. So
it's good for if you don't already have a service.
Yeah, so you get the extended warranty, 200 gigabytes of Google One storage, Google Play Pro, I can't read my own handwriting, YouTube Premium TV, and YouTube Premium Music. And you can upgrade your device after 2 years.
So, yeah, I think it's good if you don't already have all those services or some of those services. I wish there was like a way to like check mark boxes and say, hey, I don't need that. Because I'm already in a YouTube Music, YouTube Family plan. So, like, I'd be paying for that and I wouldn't use the actual feature of that part of it, part of the bundle. So, yeah, I just thought these Pixel phones are just finally a decent phone's getting released that's not an iPhone. That's different and relatively inexpensive. It's getting good reviews as well. So
not bad at all. price wise.
Are you you have anything to add before we jump on to our tech news bites?
The live translate thing looked cool, where like it can translate your text in like real time.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that. That's, I guess, also the big thing about the new Pixel phones is the Tensor chip from Google. So they're actually using their own chip on the phone, and they said that that's going to allow the phone to do a lot of artificial like software. So like live translate. I thought it was cool that if you call like like an automated hotline type thing, the phone will like listen for you and just like bring up prompts on the screen, and you can click through the prompts instead of sitting there and listening to like all the prompts that the automated phone system would read you.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to use that technology to really understand what they're doing with it. So, because it was it sounded cool, but like I don't know like how well it would work.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know. It might not work all the way, and then you have to call back again.
Yeah, and it's also like, yeah, it is. I don't know how like well it's gonna work. It'll be interesting to actually see.
So, all right, let's jump into tech news bites. You want to hit the timer? Usually, what we do on this is it's 2 minutes, unless sometimes we go over. So we try to cover the story in 2 minutes if we're lucky.
I was getting it up. Go.
Tech News Bites.
Our first one up is the Boring Company gets approval from Las Vegas to build its public transportation system underground. And this is that company from Elon Musk that drills gigantic holes under the ground and builds like a highway for Tesla vehicles. And it's not like you can't drive your Tesla vehicle down there. It's more like public transportation, but instead of a train, it's a car.
Yeah, the loop system. It's going to be 29 miles long and have 51 stations. So it got approved by the Clark County Commissions. So it's not a done deal yet. They have to do like one more hurdle, and then they can start building. I don't like this design in general. I just think it's stupid because each car can only hold like 5 people at the most, 6 people.
Yeah, well, they said they're actually working on vehicles that would go through that will hold, I think, 12 maybe, or 8 or 12. I can't remember. But yeah.
Well, they said their plan is once they can build, they will have 5 to 10 stations complete in the first 6 months, and then 15 to 20 every year after done it, and they'll be done in 3 years. And they said they can move 57,000 riders per hour. But right now they already have like a small loop, and it does 44,000. It was supposed to do 4,400 an hour, but they say they only get about like 576 people an hour done.
Yeah, so it looks like there's a lot of kinks that need to work out on this. I was very skeptical about it at first until I read into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I wonder who's paying for it. Is Clark County paying for it, or is like the Boring Company paying for it to prove that they can do it and then try to roll it out to other cities?
Yeah, I think it's probably a mixture of both. It's a public transportation network, so I would assume it's like an investment from the city, kind of like when they buy school like buses and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool system. But let's jump into their next one. This is also a Tesla story. Hertz announced that they were buying 100,000 Teslas, and I guess they're going to rent them out. And then later on, they released another story where they said that Hertz is going to put up 50,000 of those Teslas to be rented out by Uber drivers.
Yeah, I didn't realize most Uber drivers rent their car.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I thought you typically brought your own car.
That's what I thought. Be like no overhead. You're paying for this. They said a lot of Uber drivers that live in the big cities rent cars, so Uber is going to work with them, and then that the drivers can rent the car from Hertz for $334 a week. That includes like everything, like your insurance and all. And then eventually we'll go down to $299 a week.
What this sounds like is, well, it's just a taxi cab company now, because they're just supplying their employees cars basically.
Yeah, and they'll do like the maintenance and all, but like how much, I don't know how like the Uber works, but like if you're running this, like it has to be like a full-time job then, right? You have to do so
Yeah,
much.
this sounds like if you're renting it for $2.99 in order to break even, this is your job. I feel like.
Yeah, and it's going to start November 1st in L.A., San Fran, San Diego, and Washington D.C.
Yeah, they're going to roll it out through the country, and also they're saying they're going to install more chargers. So all these companies right now are all saying they're going to install more chargers. So there's going to be a charger everywhere by the time this decade's over.
Well, that's what it should be. If they want electric cars to catch on, they have to.
Yeah, so I actually want to rent, because I'm curious about electric cars, and I don't want to buy one yet, but I would love to rent one for like a vacation or something like that, just for the fun of it. So if there's one available for comparable prices or a little bit more, I'm gonna try it out. I'll rent it's free advertising for Tesla.
Ooh, we should rent a Tesla and drive it.
A Future Jam road trip. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And then we can get really drunk and have it drive us home.
All right, so this next story, I usually don't add these because there's so many different companies doing this, and it's all becoming samey. But I just thought this was fun because it would be fun to host your own like DJ radio station where you just play music, because most of these things would probably pull you down if you tried to play music, right? Because it's all copyrighted stuff. So Amazon's launching its own competitor to Clubhouse. If you don't know, Clubhouse is like a voice chat app. Like it's like a boring voice chat room thing. But this is called Project Mic. It lets you basically play songs from Amazon Music Library, and then you could chat over it or chat after the song is done and kind of have your own radio broadcast.
Yeah, it uses Amazon Music. And then it'll have like some pop culture and sports and comedy. But it seems like Amazon does wants their like own radio station, because they're like, oh, we'll bring in celebrities and influencers to do like channels and all.
Yeah, it's basically Amazon's version of radio. Or,
yeah.
You know, there's this thing called podcast you're listening to. Like, I think you guys have heard of that.
Yeah, I think you can listen to us through Amazon, can't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no clue.
I think this would be fun to do. That says like when you're bored or like hanging out with your friends, like to do a dumb radio show.
I've always wanted to like host my own music show, like just play a song and then just talk a little bit about it and then play another song. So I actually might give this a whirl. I don't know what I'd call my channel, but yeah.
Handsome Mike's Fun Time Radio Station.
There you go. I'm gonna broadcast under Handsome Mike's Fun Time Radio Station.
That'd be awesome. You should do it. What are you doing? Do it right now.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm here, but yeah, they're going to be able to broadcast it on Amazon Music, Twitch, Audible, and all Alexa-enabled devices. So up next, Pinterest gets more TikTok-like with a watch tab for videos, and it also has like a $20 million creator fund.
Yeah, so what they're doing is you can create like TikTok 60 seconds videos, or you can do like the Instagram stories and have like 20 pictures connected to like a Pinterest, like your post. Kind of makes sense, right? Because like Pinterest,
it almost makes too much sense, because Pinterest was like the most outdated of all the apps. Like whenever I'd use it, I'm like, why are people using this app? It's very clunky.
Yeah, it's not the best. I have never used Pinterest. I've scrolled through my wife's phone like once or twice, but I don't know, have a Pinterest account.
Yeah, I never quite understood why people used it or what it was for. I feel like maybe 70% of the user base is probably female, but I'm not going to guarantee my life.
I do not subscribe to your sexist comments.
No,
but my wife would use it for recipes, like ideas to decorate, like for kids' birthdays or games and stuff like that. So it's a kind of like a neat way to get ideas for stuff. And like you can go through and like pin stuff you like, and you're supposed to have like your board that you like. That's what Pinterest is. Which, like, this kind of makes sense if like the creators can now show you kind of how they make something or give you ideas. A big thing is like you can actually like and like pin a video, so like you can go back to it, which is something that TikTok won't let you do. So
what do you mean? You can heart a video on TikTok or save it to your favorites?
This one, it said you can just like save it. I thought you couldn't do that on TikTok. I'm also not a TikTok guy.
No, maybe this one you can pin the videos to like categories or your board or whatever. So I think that's definitely more like in depth than what TikTok does. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think the stories can. I'm surprised Pinterest hasn't like been bought out by somebody.
I bet you they have. We just probably haven't talked about it.
I don't think so. I feel like they would. You would have known if they were under like Google or.
Yeah, they're not owned by
Microsoft.
Google 100%. They're not owned by Google or Microsoft. I'll say that.
Who owns? Hold on, Pinterest. I think they're listed as their own company.
Okay.
So 11 years ago by 3 guys.
All right. Yeah. So Alex deducted that Pinterest is its own company. There we go. He just Googled it.
Figured it.
Next up, the new Assassin's Creed educational tour lets you explore the Viking Age. I always thought this was really cool that Ubisoft would build this into all their Assassin's Creed games as of late. So they had the Egyptian one where you could turn this on and basically in the game just walk around from point to point, and it's kind of like a historical tour of the game, and it would like give you information about like the architecture and what happened. So it was like almost like a history documentary built into the game itself.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to make these games a little bit educational, because they just do whatever they want with the history, because you're supposed to be assassin during that time period.
So in this version, this one's taking place during the Viking Age in England. So rather than just walking freely around, just kind of viewing the architecture and reading stuff and listening to stuff, you're actually going on a guided tour, and you assume the role of like 4 different characters, like King Alfred the Great and a Viking merchant and that sort of thing. And you'll kind of like see a story and learn something about that time period. I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's fun. I think this is a good way to educate people on things. Like I can see, like if Ubisoft like really gets good at this technology, I can see this something that they can put in schools, because like you're learning about like the daily lives of these people. There's no conflicts. Usually these games are kind of violent.
Yeah, they take away all the conflict. There's no way to die or anything like that. It's just.
Yeah, it just seems fun, and they're uploading it free if you already have the game. If you want this standalone feature, it is $20. So maybe I'll just bring one of my brothers. They both have it.
You can also study period artifacts from museums from the UK, France, and Denmark. So that's kind of cool too. So they have like real museum artifacts in there to look at. Finally, last story: Sinclair Broadcast Group hit by ransomware attack, upending local TV newscasts.
Yeah, this has been wild. It's been going on for days.
Yeah, I didn't know this was even happening. I don't watch TV, so I didn't even know.
I noticed, my wife told me last Wednesday that they were hacked. And I think, oh, okay. And then I went to watch Survivor last Wednesday night. And before, there was supposed to be like Entertainment Tonight, and they were just showing Wipeout. And they did it again this Wednesday, too. Like,
so are they hackers just showing whatever show they want to play?
I don't know, but it really upended a lot of local news. Like the local news affiliate in Cincinnati, Channel 12, they could finally screen yesterday on Tuesday morning on like, they could finally go on the
I don't
website.
even know what you're saying right now.
Sorry, I'm trying, like they still couldn't get on like live TV, but they can now stream through the app and website if you want to watch the news.
They couldn't get the live TV working, so you had to go to the website to view it?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I read the article, but I didn't. I just kind of skimmed over it because it was I didn't know it was like that big of a thing.
Well, Sinclair owns 185 television stations in 86 markets. It's a huge company. And I wonder, since they've gotten backlash over the past couple of years, because they've been getting more political. And like,
are they the same one that basically had the same political like talk? Like they had like all the news announcers say the same thing on every single channel, and it was kind of like repulsive in a way.
Yeah. So usually the local news is free from politics. So like having an agenda, they just kind of give you your local news. Yeah, that's what is supposed to be great about it. But Sinclair, because it was like such a big media company, has like required like all the like reporters one day like to read this one like really political story, and like people caught on, like, there was like a montage of like 10 or 12 different reporters reading this.
I think we actually talked about this last year on the podcast.
We might have. I don't know if we did or not. But like after that story, our local CBS affiliate lost so many anchors. Like a lot of them retired or just quit.
Yeah, I almost also feel like there's too many like the amount of people watching broadcast TV now is probably not enough to support 4 local news channels.
I totally disagree.
You think there's enough people watching it to support 4 local channels?
I think so.
No, I don't. I think you watch it, but I don't know.
The local news is mostly on from like 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. when people aren't really watching TV.
Yeah.
And 3 to 6 p.m. when no one's watching TV.
But we have ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, and also you could count, I guess, the the public broadcasting channel as well, but they don't have a lot of local stuff on there. But
I like the local news. I watch it.
No, I do. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying.
No, it seems like you're knocking it
to the point where it's overly saturated for the amount of people probably watching it. Because every year people are like moving away from like terrestrial things. Like radio is going down, dropping every year. And I can only assume that the TV over the air is doing the same thing.
Yeah, but with a lot of people cutting the cable cord and moving the broadcast TV, I feel like the numbers might be up. And a lot of it's like you can stream a lot of it now. Like I can stream local Philadelphia news.
Yeah, okay.
Here now, and people like the apps and like the
so
websites.
Maybe people are just watching it in a different place now than just watching it over the antenna.
Yeah, and something happens to you when you get to a certain age where you don't mind watching the local news.
something strange happens to you where you watch the weather and you watch the local news,
and like you want to see the traffic, and then there's like, oh, an interesting story coming up, and then part of you dies inside.
I don't remember the last time I listened to or watched the traffic.
Well, you work from home.
Well, no, I drove into work today. Actually, I did look at the traffic today. Because on the way into work, my normal route was blocked by like a fire engine and a police car and all this stuff, and I couldn't go. So I had to turn around, do a U-turn, and drive like 15 minutes out of my way. And I'm like, what happened? So I actually went to the news site, typed in the road, and I found out that some car drove off the road, rammed into a bunch of parked cars, and they had to drive call in air care. So
yeah. Let's support your local news stations.
Yeah, I don't care. So that's the Future Jam for this week. You could find us at the Future Jam on Facebook, Instagram. I almost said TikTok, but not TikTok, and Twitter.
Do you want to start a TikTok where I show people technology?
Yeah, I'll buy a bunch of technology products and you can show them to people.
No, you don't have to buy them. I was like, this is the TV. Let's show people a TV.
So you're going to show technology items around your house?
Yeah.
Like, this is the TV I got on sale at Amazon. This is my kid's Fire tablet.
Dude, he does have a tablet.
This is my Fire box or whatever. What is that thing called? The Alexa?
Echo.
The Echo. This is my Fire Echo.
I was thinking more like I have a Sega.
Oh, yeah.
I have a Game Boy.
And you have that dumb PlayStation Mini.
I love the PlayStation Mini. It's dumb.
It's very dumb.
It's dumb. I don't need this.
It was so dumb. They sold it for like $30.
I know. But they picked bad games.
So
they really did. See, that's the thing about like Nintendo when they released theirs. It's like, oh, Nintendo, what are you going to get? A Mario game. Okay, a Zelda game. Super Smash
I stand
Brothers.
by this 100%, Alex, where 2D games don't really date because they're like you can still play them easily and you don't get like you could still enjoy them. But
yeah,
old 3D games are so dated. They're not even fun to play.
Yeah, some of them some hold up better than others. I think it depends on the type of game. Like the games that were like meant to look kind of more cartoony kind of hold up better than the ones that were meant to look realistic.
Yeah, the cartoony ones definitely hold up better, like Okami and some other games like that. There were some good ones. And like the fighting games, all the fighting games typically hold up pretty good. But yeah, shooting games and like a lot of racing games and that sort of thing, those don't hold up too well.
Not the best.
Not the best. So, all right. That was the Future Jam for this week. Feel free to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Also, check out our other show, Fact Off Podcast.
Woo.
So, all right. See you later, buddy.
Bye.